First up, Mara Slackman. What's that? I thought I saw her. Did she leave? Okay. If she comes back in, let us know. Mr. Weinberger, you're up then.
Thank you. There are two reasons why I oppose this purchasing agreement. And you can't tell from the title what's beneath the surface. You'd have to actually read the attached documentation on the city's website. My first concern is that this is a no-bid contract that was granted to the company in question based on a claim that its product or service was proprietary. Having spoken to a number of friends of mine who are professional videographers and also some attorneys, they all concur that in no way is Wildfire Connections' product and service is proprietary. This should be an open bid. There's no way that this panel should approve this contract with Wildfire Connections tonight. This is a violation of rules governing the commission as far as what kind of things should be bid, and this is not the kind of thing that should receive a no-bid contract. My other concern, coming from a different angle, is the fact that if you read the accompanying documentation to the purchasing measure, you'll see that these cameras and the surveillance system will be targeting Fort Lauderdale Beach, which is obviously a tourist area, but in terms of its impact on the city itself, it's targeting one neighborhood, which is the Sistrunk Boulevard corridor, which anybody who lives in the city or maybe beyond knows is a predominantly black neighborhood. This proposal is on its face discriminatory. If you're going to put cameras everywhere, which I would even more strenuously object to, if you're going to put them in one neighborhood, you should be putting them in every neighborhood, not a neighborhood which has been disproportionately targeted by law enforcement in a city where the public defender and the NAACP have called on the Department of Justice to intervene because of racist police practices by the Fort Lauderdale Police Department. It's not a secret that 4 cops had to leave the force about 4 or 5 months ago because they got caught exchanging racist police texts.
What did you want cameras in that situation?
Excuse me, and even more recently, another officer had to resign because his Facebook page was discovered to have some racist content.
He didn't resign.
Excuse me?
He didn't resign.
He's not on the force, then he was fired. Okay, it's even worse. So he was fired from the police department, and I appreciate if you wouldn't interrupt me, sir.
Mr. Weinberger, I'm just trying to understand, and I'll give you as much time, but for the time I speak, all I ever heard from you all was body cameras, so now we're putting cameras in, but you don't like the cameras.
I've never talked about body cameras. Show me one time when I've...
So you're opposed to body cameras?
The issue tonight isn't body cameras.
Are you opposed to body cameras or not?
It's irrelevant to the conversation, actually. Yeah, it's irrelevant. So thank you. The issue is that there's going to be cameras. I can't really say exactly where along the Sistrunk corridor, but the fact is that the language of this purchasing proposal explicitly states that the cameras will be located along Sistrunk Boulevard, that the system can be expanded. There are already cameras, from what I understand, in the city that are actually in housing projects, also residential areas which are predominantly African American. So, you know, one would hope that a city which already has been noted for a racist police force and racist police practices would be a little more sensitive to the issue of racism as opposed to going ahead and making a purchasing agreement to put more cameras in the most oppressed community in the city. We're not bringing them good-paying jobs. We're not bringing them affordable housing and better education, but we are bringing them better surveillance so that more of them can be arrested for petty crimes. That's all I have to share. Thank you.
Commissioner McKenzie, you in support of cameras on Sistron? Yes? All right, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Rogers?
Yeah, I just had a question, Lee. Are you comfortable that these are proprietary, this purchase?
Yes.
And, I mean, they're video cameras, is there some uniqueness?
Yeah, actually, there's quite a few unique aspects about this system that we have not seen with other vendors.
Okay. All right, I'll vote yes.
Commissioner Roberts? Yes. Commissioner Trentalis?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McKenzie? Mayor Siler?
Yes, and by your vote, that's approved. Next up is